In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome everybody to the Genius Brain Podcast. For those of you who haven't heard about the Genius Brain Podcast, this is a podcast about anything and everything. We are here just to keep you company on your commute. We talk about feelings. We talk about giggles. We talk about laughs. And Genius Brain just means that it's just a bunch of dumb people talking today. Yeah, you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, you dumb?
Yeah.
All right. Today we have my girlfriend.
Fiance.
I like girlfriend though.
I like boyfriend too. I like girlfriend.
Girlfriend?
Girlfriend.
You like girlfriend?
I like girlfriend.
Mariel's song, everybody.
Hi, どうも。久しぶりです。
Introduce it like Terrace House right now.
はい。こんばんは。Terrace House はななななななな。
That was the worst intro I've ever heard in my
I
life.
forget what they say. はい、こんばんは。さて。
そう。Look at you, dude.
You and your terrace.
I love Terrace House.
I know, you've been watching the old series now that we're done with part 2 of Tokyo.
I just started watching the Terrace House Aloha State, the Hawaii one, and there's this kid that is and the reason why I started watching the Terrace House Hawaii one is because in the new season there's this kid named I think his performer name is Eden Kai, but his Japanese name or his actual name is Yusuke.
Yusuke.
So Yusuke is a very interesting kid. Number one, it's kind of hard to hate him because he's very sweet and adorable. Mm-hmm. He has like a very untarnished innocence about him.
Yeah.
So
he's very young in that series. He's like 18
he's
years
18
old.
when he comes up. But even for an 18-year-old, he's very innocent.
Very.
Like he has trouble making eye contact with people. When situations become awkward or people point things out about him, he stares down at the floor. He kind of curls up and balls up, which is a quality in guys, specifically Asian dudes, that I see a lot that I fucking hate.
Yeah, I haven't seen Aloha. I just saw like a clip of it today, but you were so emotionally invested in this guy. You're just like, if I see him, I'm going to punch him. I'm like, he's just a little boy.
The reason why I say I'm going to punch him is because I love him, though. It's not because I
yeah. It looked like you really cared about him.
Because I'm rooting for him.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Because he's such a good dude. But he has every like quality that I hate about certain like Asian guys that I used to grow up with. Like they have this thing, like I've talked about this before, where I hate people who use the excuse that nice guys finish last and friend zone. Mm-hmm. Those are the two things I hate the most that guys use when really what happens in these situations, specifically when it comes to people who say nice guys finish last, you're really not that, you're not a nice guy. Nice guys don't have to say that they're nice guys.
Yeah.
You ever noticed that too?
Yeah.
Like, because you told me about a situation back in the day where there was a guy who really liked you. It was in Taiwan before you left.
Oh, is it that one? Okay. I don't know. I was like, oh, which one?
Oh, which one? It was the guy that was in Taiwan and he wrote the letter for you.
Oh, no, that was in college.
That was in college.
Yeah. I guess they're kind of similar if you think about it like that.
In what ways?
Because... he was always in my friends. He put himself in the friend zone. Like he was always just a buddy, and he never asked me out or anything. Like not that I was interested in. Like I thought we were totally friends. And then towards the end, right before we graduated, he decided he's like, "Hey, you want to go like
just
have
out
a
of
dinner?"
nowhere?
Yeah, out of nowhere. And I was like, "Oh yeah, sure, let's have dinner." But it was just one-on-one. I was like, oh, this is weird. And so just like the Aloha stage, yeah, they were talking. They're like, oh my gosh, he's asking you out. I'm like, I didn't think like that. I thought we were just friends. But then now that you guys say it like that, like, how am I supposed to approach this? And so it was like this really fancy steakhouse, by the way.
Okay. Yeah, you got that good free meal. Okay.
I did get a free meal and, dressed up, whatnot, but...
really awkward, huh?
Yeah, it was kind of awkward.
Was it because he couldn't really start a conversation, or what was awkward is because you knew that he kind of wanted more?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's more, but I knew that it was more than just a friend thing because he didn't do that to all the friends. It was just me.
Just you, yeah.
And, before we left, he wrote me a very nice letter.
Tight. Of course, letters always work, homies. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you write that letter, cuz.
After I left the town, though, I was like, I'm never going back up. And I didn't.
He wrote a letter to you when you were leaving?
After we left, yeah. After we're done.
What's the whole fucking point of that, guy?
I think it was just like a closure, maybe, of like how he felt about me. But that said, I didn't.
Well, I guess what I'm asking is like when he wrote you that letter, was he expecting a response back?
I don't know.
Hey, I'm not leaving because after I read this letter, I have to stay here for you.
I'm coming back for you.
And then, Korean drama music plays in the back. 추억들 사랑했던 기억이.
사랑은 돌아오는 거야.
And then right when you're about to leave, you turn around and he grabs your wrist.
And then the cliffhanger.
Yeah. And then it gets into it's like phase. It's like foggy.
Glossy.
With the glitter.
Yeah. And then zoom, zoom, zoom.
Yeah.
No, that was
근데,
the next episode.
That's so funny.
No, I just text him and be like, "Hey, thanks for the present."
Yeah, and that's the thing about that kid Yusuke too, right? It's
he's so adorable.
He's very innocent, and he's like misreading into a lot of these situations. Like when a girl, like for example, he is an amazing musician. He plays a guitar really, really well. So I think with the girl, her name is what? What was her name again? Lauren Tsai, right? So Lauren shows interest and she's excited about his music. And he kind of takes that as, oh, like this might be a good segue for me to ask her out on a date.
Any interest, he thinks.
Exactly. Any interest, which is true. Like when you see a girl who's interested in something that you're doing, that's probably your avenue to really establish whether you're going to be friends or you could show interest. Problem with him is just he just stood there like a dumbass. Like he just stands there with his mouth open, just waiting for something to happen, and he's creating these narratives in his head. You know what I mean? Like,
how do you know so well?
Because when I was younger, I was just like that.
I knew it.
But these are the qualities that we don't like in people because we see that in ourselves, right? And
so you were like him? You play music? And
no, but that's more like how I was when I was
in high school.
Like 14, 15 maybe. You know what I mean? Like that age. So it's like, I think for him, because he hasn't dated yet, that he hasn't experienced these feelings, right? But it's just like, for example, he's not a bad looking guy. Super talented, right? Very sweet, very nice. And the one missing piece that he's missing right now, which I always talk about, is confidence. His shoulders are down. He kind of has his tail between his legs.
Yeah.
If he would just stand up straight, talk to her, look her in the eye, but instead when he talks to her, he just stares at the floor, looks around, and it's not very attractive.
He doesn't have swag. If he had Ryo swag.
Who's Ryo?
Ryo, the basketball player on the Tokyo
Yeah, exactly.
one.
That confidence. Oh, yeah, relax, all right? My couch is getting wet right now. But like
what? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So in the new season, that guy has a lot of confidence, or even like that goofy confidence that Pepe has.
I love Pepe.
Pepe, if you guys don't know, is this? If you watch Terrace House, you can tell I'm really into this shit. Is this Italian immigrant that he moved to Japan to be a manga artist? He's also confident too, but he's in a goofy, like geeky way, right? Because geeks can have confidence too.
Totally.
So Yusuke has none of that shit.
If he had his music confidence, maybe.
There's this episode that you see where there's this very weird interaction between Lauren and him, where he's trying to ask her to go to North Shore. So because they're on a while, so he's trying to ask her to go to the North Shore with him, but then obviously other people came along too because he didn't really establish himself. So the reason why I get irritated about this is because this is really the interaction that you see from guys, that what really happens, but the story that they tell is different. Not from Yusuke, but other people, right? So guys will be like, oh man, like I'm stuck in the friend zone. These nice guys finish last. It's like, no, it's not that nice guys finish last. The girl was never interested in you in the first place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Are guys in general, are guys like that?
I don't think all guys are like that, but I'm talking about a specific type of guy that's very bitter towards women because they are inadequate. It is not the girl's fault. I don't like it when guys blame girls for not liking them. A girl doesn't have to fucking like you. They do not owe it to you to give themselves to you because you're a nice guy.
You tell them.
I hate that shit because number one, too, it's like I'm not Mr. What Captain Save-A-Ho, Mr. Feminist or shit like that. But I don't like it when people say that you owe me your feelings because I'm a good guy. Like how fucking dare you? That's great. You're a nice guy. You're supposed to be a nice guy.
Yeah.
But it's up to you to show somebody kind of what you can offer them in a relationship sense.
And on top of that, if you're a nice guy, we will be nice to you. Because, hey, why would we treat you like crap when you are nice? So we will approach you very nicely. And they receive that as like, oh, we're moving on. We're getting something here. It's like, no.
It's that social awkwardness where they can't tell what flirting is. It's right. Like, because if they see them, right, and they see that girl with another dude and they kind of behave different, it's like, okay, that's attraction. You know what I mean? Like when you have interacted with this girl, she's very sweet, she smiles, she's laughs, she's having a good time. Doesn't mean she's attracted to you, right? It just means that you're a nice guy and she's a nice girl and you guys are having good interactions. Now, if you wanted to establish yourself and create that relationship, you can't sit there twiddling your thumbs expecting things to happen. You're not making a move. You're not asserting yourself. You're not letting that person know that you want something more in a relationship. And by the time that time passes, like it's probably months, maybe sometimes even years for these guys. And then out of nowhere, just like in your case, they go, let's go on a date. What the fuck? What do you mean, let's go on a date?
Yeah.
Where did this come from? How are you supposed to take it? Like, how did you receive it?
I mean, we didn't see each other after that. He lives up in NorCal. I live in SoCal. So it was just
and
like,
it was such
toodles.
I don't want to say it's a coward thing because I don't know the guy, right? But it's more like, what was the point?
I think for him, it might have been a closure for it. Because he knew that, hey, we're not gonna able to see each other every day that we used to. You know, it was kind of like Terrace House because we had same classes every day. So we would see each other every day doing the same activities. And he knew that, okay, this is gonna come to an end. Maybe he had some feelings for me and he's like, I need to put a closure into this. So he gave me a letter.
What was the letter?
It was a poem.
Good God, guys.
I read it. I was like, wait, I'm not reading this correctly. This is not a letter.
Like, why is it rhyming?
Yeah. Something about sunflower and birds.
Did it make you feel sweet or did it make you want to throw up?
Neither. I was just kind of like shocked and laughing because it was just so out of the blue. But I thought it was sweet, but at the same time I knew or maybe he already knew how I felt about him. So I was like, I don't know how to approach this. Like, how do I respond to this? I have to say something. So maybe it was coward of me. I don't know, because I just texted him and said, hey, thank you for the gift. That's so sweet of you.
Well, I mean, what were you supposed to say? Do you see what I'm saying?
Right? Yeah, exactly.
That's like, I just don't like that. I'm not saying that every person has to approach a girl the same way, right? Because some guys have a more subtle approach. I'm not a very subtle person. Like you know, like when we interacted, I was not subtle at all.
No, you weren't.
Because that friend zone shit don't exist to me.
Oh shoot!
Either I get rejected or you accept me. Either way, we'll
there
figure
was
it
no
out.
friend. No, that wasn't even an option. You told me you're like, hey, we're not friends.
Because you gave me the crappiest hug ever. I was like, that's a friend hug.
I gave the Lauren hug.
Yeah, you gave the Lauren side hug. I was like, nah, I don't like that. But
yeah.
This podcast is brought to you by Skillshare, my friends. If you don't know what Skillshare is, I wonder if you are tackling your New Year's goal to be a better you. Well, guess what? Let me tell you what Skillshare is. Skillshare is an online learning community that offers membership with meaning. With so much to explore, real projects to create, and the support of fellow creatives, Skillshare empowers you to accomplish real growth. Skillshare is also incredibly affordable, especially when compared to pricey in-person classes and workshops. An annual subscription is less than $10 a month. I have been using Skillshare to sharpen up my photography and videography skills because I use that on the daily and I like to learn at my own pace. So a lot of traditional learning, you don't have that. You have to learn when somebody tells you to learn. They give you all these tests. Well, some of us like to learn at our own spare time. And when we have a busy life, we want to be able to pick and choose when we can do it. And Skillshare, with their huge database of knowledge, has got your back, baby. So Skillshare is a proud sponsor of GeniusBrain. Explore your creativity at Skillshare.com/brain and get 2 free months of premium membership. That's 2 whole months of unlimited access to thousands of classes for free. Get started and join today by heading to Skillshare.com/brain. That's Skillshare.com/brain.
I mean, but you know what? I think he just wanted a closure because we're not friends anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay. It was a good chapter of my life.
For me, I don't feel like he wanted closure because he wrote a freaking poem.
What do you think it was?
He was trying to emotionally move you with the poem. Because if it was closure, it would just been like, hey, it would have been, I think, just a regular letter, which already is weird for an adult to do that. Depending on if that was the type of interaction that you guys already had. It was like something cute that you guys already did, which you guys didn't do. You know what I mean? Because he was scared to talk to you in person. He could have just talked to you in person and said, hey, he
is a nice guy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's a really nice dude.
maybe he is the stereotype nice guy then.
Yeah, it's.
But I don't know. I mean, that is that his name? Yusuke. He just didn't have those kind of opportunities, but he's tried. He tried in that show.
That's what I appreciate about him the most.
Yeah.
Is that no matter what, like I said, this frustration for me, like I'm super into this shit, is because
you look like him.
I'm the older version of him.
I know.
Like I like him a lot, you know.
He's adorable.
He's really adorable. He's actually he's a cute looking dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's literally his posture that makes him unattractive.
Yeah. Like compare him and Luca, who does not even try. Like this guy, Ryusuke, he actually talks to people, listens, and go all out. Make reservations, even though he ended up eating him by himself. It was very lonely.
Saddest, dude, there's this part in the show where they made him look like the biggest fucking loser I've ever seen in my life. And it made me mad a little bit. I'm like, yo, don't make my man Yusuke look like that.
You're mad. He's
my man. He's my man. Yusuke, I love you. Don't make Yusuke look like that.
I know. They didn't do it once, but they did it twice.
He was eating fried catfish.
Alone in the patio.
It's 17 different angles to show how alone he is.
I know, so sad. But give him maybe that's why we like him, because he gives all out, or he gives everything.
Tries.
Yeah, he tries
and
hard.
He listens.
Yes.
Though a lot of people are giving him bad advice.
Yeah. But Luca, on the other hand, which is another guy in the latest season of Terrace House, he doesn't even try. He just finds one thing and just goes for it. Like he doesn't look for options. He doesn't ask people for advice. Like he went on that date to freaking hour and a half out in this, I don't know, next to the ocean to get sushi. And it's like, why do you have to go so far? You could just find something nearby and do more activities.
Ruka is the young kid, right?
He's the young kid who wants to become a Spider-Man.
Okay, well, Ruka is different on the second season, or the season that we're watching now.
Yeah.
It's because if I ever meet this kid, Luca, if I ever meet you, most likely, you're not going to learn how to speak English, even though you're trying, because here's the thing, he's dumb as rocks. From the show, the way the show portrays him, he's also lovable too, though. I actually like the kid a lot.
I did at first. I thought he was adorable at first, but later, the more we see him, for me at least, I'm like, you are a hopeless child. You're not even trying. You're not even doing anything.
He kind of is trying, though. Because think about it though, he's trying, but I also think he's been sheltered so much.
So,
and then number two, I think he's not as sharp as other people are. So think about it like this: if he wasn't trying, there was an episode where he said he wants to learn adult skills, even though he already is a fucking adult. And remember, he made that disgusting broccoli egg pasta. So this motherfucker is so fucking. Here's the thing: there's the internet. If you wanted to learn how to make a carbonara pasta, look up a YouTube video, bro.
Yeah.
What this fool does, he takes a boiling pot of water, unseasoned, throws broccoli in it, and then his pasta in it. And then, because he wants to make a carbonara, he just cracks eggs right into the boiling water. But this is how sweet he is, too. He doesn't want to waste food, so he just eats the whole thing anyways.
He's also very innocent.
He's very innocent.
No, he's very naive.
But that's what I'm saying. He's trying.
The difference of trying is that one talks and listens and does his research. The other one, he just does it.
Because he's dumb.
I don't know. I'm like, I think you have potential. You got people around you. You could, learn.
He's cute too. He's a cutie.
He's very pretty.
Yeah.
But either way, everybody has their pace, and I'm not talking about if they're dumb or not. I just it's just how much are you willing to try?
He is trying, though. Remember, he also had a conversation with one of the other housemates where he didn't like the way that he was portrayed on Terrace House, so he wanted to change himself. And he asked her, hey, can you call me out when I do these things? And he tried. He keeps trying to cook. It's just it's so funny too, because everybody has, when they come to this thing called Terrace House, and I haven't given background on the show.
It's on Netflix.
It's a Japanese reality TV, but it's very natural in the sense that there isn't a narrative that's really forced, because you're seeing something that happens within a single episode can span from a whole week, a whole week or 2 weeks. And so they condense that week or 2 weeks or maybe even a month into one episode. And so you're seeing natural interaction, and they cut and edit it very well. And so that's what Terrace House is. It's a reality TV show that doesn't have forced drama or anything. It's just these people are put into a house and you're going to see how they interact. And so
And you learn so much about their culture that it's just so fascinating. And then they have, what, 6 hosts? 5 or 6 hosts?
And they make like comedic commentary. Hilarious.
Yeah.
So it's essentially what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
But they're so fucking funny.
I love them.
Dude, and so like, you know, going back to this kid.
Luca?
Luca.
Or Duske?
Luca. So him, I see his effort and he's trying a lot. It's just like watching him fail is so funny because he smiles and laughs about everything. He's just smiling and he's trying, and he doesn't even get frustrated. He's just like, it's not working. Let me try again. Yusuke is a lot more mature than him, but he kind of just takes everybody's advice too straightforward, right? So they go, oh, when you date a girl, you should wear a white shirt or this shirt. He doesn't even question why. He goes, why? Why would I wear a white shirt or a burgundy shirt? What does that mean, right? He just goes, oh, I heard from an older person that this is what I should wear. So I'm going to wear this burgundy shirt. It's like, bro, what the fuck? You sound like a 5-year-old, dude.
You know, it sounds like he hasn't gone through tough times to question those. Like, it's not even in his mind because he never had to.
There was a scene, too, where they're asking, he's asking this part where, well, he's not asking this part. That doesn't make any sense. Basically, somebody gave him the advice that when you go on a date with the girl, in order to establish that you are attracted to them, you should try to touch them and hold their hand. It's like, who the fuck told you that, man? What? He's a virgin, by the way, which is cool. But what other virgin gave you the advice? Like that you should just come up and just grab a girl's hand, dude. That has never, ever worked in the history of man unless that girl was literally attracted to you or, you know, like it was out there already.
I'm glad the other guy, the roommate, said, well, you gotta kind of make sure, read the room.
Yeah, because it might seem a little rapey.
Yeah.
Is what he said. It might come off as sexual harassment.
I think he probably learned from that lesson, from that very first date. Like, oh, I should ask if they are available for dinner before making reservations.
If he didn't say that part, you know, because and the awkward situation is that they know that she's not attracted to him, but it's not their business to tell him, like, don't go out on this date. Because it's also a great life experience for him, too. It's a good learning experience to get rejected and get dumped.
Yeah, totally.
So I kind of like the fact that they didn't step in, but they kind of gave him a small assist in the sense of, don't touch her like that. Kind of gave him a little hint. Because if they didn't do that, he would have tried to hold her hand.
Maybe late. I mean, all they did was watch a movie, though.
She didn't give him a hug either.
No, not at all, because she didn't want to give that message. I think she did, you know, she could have handled it better, of course, because it was kind of awkward and sad.
Yeah, she kind of just like sulked away and then walked away from him.
But I think she did the best that she can in a very good, for a good reason.
She did the best that an 18-year-old can do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can't forget that they're 18.
I'm giving her grace because she's an 18-year-old. I'm giving him a lot of grace because he's an 18-year-old as well.
And for an 18-year-old, she does a lot.
Yeah, she does do a lot. Like, she's really talented and stuff.
She does modeling. She does art. I don't know if she goes to school. I only saw that one episode, but
I think she's also, just from what I observed from the show, she seems like somebody who prefers alone time, because she kind of mentioned it before, but looking at her interactions with people, she does appreciate her own space, her own time, and her own time to think and do things her way, you know, and that's like, you know, when you're in a living situation with a lot of other people, I think that's what stresses her out a lot, is that she's with other people. She has to be considerate of everybody else. So
that makes sense why she was getting stressed out and crying, is because things that she didn't have to consider. She was just trying to be responsible, respect her family of going to her Thanksgiving, you know, schedule with them, realizing, oh crap, I have another family that I need to think about now and think about their feelings.
Yeah. So in this part of the episode, what happened was, she essentially, what they were asking, one of the roommates were going to leave, and they didn't want to outright say it, but they were asking her to make time for this day, and it was on Thanksgiving Day, to have like a roommate's Thanksgiving before you go off and have it with your family and stuff. Essentially, how she responded was very childish in the sense of like, as an adult, if you have prior engagements that you can go to, you can make things work.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's like, hey, if, like, for example, if I had 2 Thanksgivings to go to and my parents said that Thanksgiving was important to us as a family, I would tell them, hey, I also have this other important event. I will go to it earlier and I'll make sure that I'll make it to dinner and we'll have a great time. It's very simple. Even if they say no, you should address it.
Yeah.
her excuse was like, or the way she phrased it was like, my parents aren't going to be happy about that, but I'll deal with it. It's like, well, if you were going to deal with it, why'd you have to mention that one part that made the whole conversation sour?
Yeah.
And so that's her being an 18-year-old and not knowing how to handle an adult situation.
I think that's definitely like kind of a life experience of, because you haven't thought about, how your, the person that you're talking to is going to feel. Like, that's not something she realized what she did. That's why the friend was like, then you shouldn't say that because you have to think about our feelings. It's like, because for Lauren, she was just saying like, I don't think, because in the scene she said that, I don't think you're here to listen to understand, just listen to tell me something.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the case. And so she didn't realize, what I just said could affect people in their emotions too. So like, now I have two things to consider. She just didn't, for an 18-year-old in her life, I guess she didn't have that kind of situations before. Now she knows.
Yeah. What's the other girl's name again?
I don't know.
I forgot her name.
I didn't watch long enough to know her name. Ayako? I don't know.
She has a different name. It starts with an A.
Avalon?
Avian.
Avalon.
Yes, but for her, you could tell that when she was conversing with her, and she's older too, by the way. She's 27 and she's 18. And when you see the interaction between an 18 and a 27-year-old and how they handle conversations, it's different, right? So
it sounded like they were sisters when they were talking.
Well, it sounded like she was talking to her younger kid sister, because it's like, hey, you're not being honest about what you're saying, and you just said something very childish, and she wanted to correct it. And so for her, she felt like, you're not really trying to listen to me. It's like, no, I heard what you said. I don't like your approach.
So she got frustrated and started crying because she knows she's wrong.
Yeah, she knows she's wrong. Because she called her out on it.
Yeah.
And so and people know too, when you get older, your ability to handle bullshit is a lot smaller.
It is.
So when she heard her say like, I'll try and ask my parents, but they're not going to like it and be upset. I'll deal with it. I'll deal with it later.
What's the guilt trip for?
She was like, well, why would you add that guilt trip part, right? And she's like, your words aren't really making sense right now. So it's like, well,
because she's like, I'm just telling you that I made a mistake.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that's fine. Then don't tell us that your parents are getting mad, because that's how are we going to feel about that?
Exactly.
But
it's like, why even throw that in there if you were going to still come to the dinner and make it happen either way? Like, what was the point of you saying that?
I think that scene was like, that's a very good like lesson learned.
It's a good life lesson for her. It's like, you didn't have to add that. Like,
on top of that, I think what was really interesting is that I don't know how the third girl felt. I don't know what that girl name is. Naomi, because she's from Japan. That conversation, I'm pretty sure she's like, this is not
intense.
It's not
very Japanese.
Yeah, because the hosts were saying like, in that situation, we would think about it but not say it out loud. So that's an American culture.
It's like the very passive aggressive Japanese culture that I've seen on the show, which is like, so.
Yeah. And then they would talk about it later behind their back.
And then they come back and they talk about it very gently. And they would do that. I mean, it's gotten really intense at certain points too, where you see personalities flare up, which is the part that makes it very interesting. But it was kind of cool to see a learning moment for a younger girl.
Yeah, I liked it.
I liked it because a 27-year-old girl is right, and for her, it was very emotional because she was being called out on the spot, on top of her dealing with the stress of moving into Terrace House, and she started tearing up and crying a lot. But
I like her though. Seeing that, I'm like, because everybody told me I love Lauren. I'm like, who's this Lauren girl? And I watch it. I'm like, yeah, she is pretty. And then like within a span of an hour, I'm like, I'm actually a fan of her now.
Well, it's I don't know why. It's easy to like her because she's very honest.
And I think she has no bad intention.
No, she has no bad intention. I want to say her name is Avian. I'm gonna call her Avian, but that's what it sounds like to me.
Her smile is so cute.
I like her the most on the show because she's very mature. I like her approach to life, and also she's very like Hawaiian. So I like Hawaiian people a lot. Like, well, she's not Hawaiian ethnicity wise, but she's like, she has that aloha spirit.
Yeah.
And so when she called her out on her bullshit, I loved it a lot because she did it very straightforward. It was like, hey, you're not going to get a pass on that because what you said kind of put a damper on the situation. And then I kind of was a little disappointed in Naomi because she knew about the situation and the reason why she wanted to have Thanksgiving, because she was going to leave. Yeah. And she didn't speak up about it.
Yeah, if she brought that up, things would have been not as intense.
Oh, and for sure.
She would have understood.
But that was the Japanese side of her. She didn't want to interrupt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very fascinating. This American-Japanese culture clashing in there, and I love it. It's so fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like the draw of Terrace House because you get to see another culture and how they interact with each other.
Who knew that would be such a interesting thing?
They're so polite because we're taught in reality TV that we only want to see drama. We want to see drunk people. We want to see tits, boobs, ass, people fucking. That's what's been sold to us what reality TV has to be. Terrace House is the exact opposite. It's very voyeuristic. It's almost like the Truman Show. You're just watching people live.
Yeah.
That's why I like season 1 the best because it felt the least forced. It was so natural.
Yeah. I think because none of them, we didn't know how it was gonna be this popular. So people didn't really have this motive of like, oh, coming on to Terrace House, it's gonna change my life or it's gonna amp up my, I don't know, my band popularity, whatever. So I think that's why it was just so organic, maybe.
You're so funny. So Mariel actually signed up for Terrace House. Was it years ago?
It was 2 years ago.
I actually want her to sign up again for the newest season because I want you to be on the show.
Now that we see, you don't have to be Japanese to be in there.
You don't have to. You speak Japanese. So I want you to be on the show so I can guest feature on it.
Why do you think you're going to come on it?
Because I'm going to visit you because you're going to be on the show and I'm going to fly to Japan and I'm going to surprise you.
I'm not saying that. I can't be like,
like saying that?
Okay, because the thing is, most of the people there are in their 20s. They're very young. 20s or in their teens. Sena, who comes on like every other season, she is in her 30s, the oldest one. And she only comes out because she is fun. Like that girl loves to.
Dude, you're fun too, man.
But not that way.
If you are not selling yourself very well, I'm actually going to use this footage as your audition tape. And I'm so disappointed in you right now. You can make it on the show. I need to be on Terrace House.
You're using me so you could be on Terrace House. What are you going to do when you're on Terrace House?
You can go on. Look, you could.
No, what are you going to do? I want to know. What do you want to do on Terrace House?
Nothing. I'm just going to talk to you, and I just want to be on there.
Why?
I'm not going to do anything crazy. I'm just going to.
You do much bigger stuff.
What am I? When the camera comes on me, I'm going to start pop locking like. Look.
What do you want to do on Terrace House? You want to go on a date?
No, I don't want to. I don't want to be on the show as a cast member.
No. I know. I'm saying like, what would you be doing? Like, what's your purpose on Terrace House? Just to be on there?
I don't have a purpose, dude. I just want to be on the show that I like. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be a cast member.
I'm not saying you can't because you can't speak Japanese unless you're going to study.
Exactly. I don't want to be. I just want to be on it to say like, hey, yo, season 6, episode 17. That's me. That's me right there.
You want me to quit my career and just go there for, I don't know,
you don't know.
6 months?
That could spark off a different career for you, dude.
What if we have a kid by then?
Huh? We will not. You are going to get on the show before I have a kid. If you don't get on the show, we're not having a kid. How about that? In your face.
Right. Okay.
I want you to get on the show so I could just feature on it, and they're like, "Yo,
I can't believe you're using me. Why don't you just study Japanese and put yourself in there?
I can't be on Terrace House.
You could be like Pepe. Why not?
Huh?
Why not?
I can't be. You
can.
No.
You could do anything, David.
I already know with my personality set from the first day, everybody's gonna hate me.
Who cares?
Everybody will hate me. The only person that's gonna like me is that one comedian with the glasses.
Exactly. Who cares?
I'm just gonna come up and they're gonna be super passive aggressive.
That glasses guy, he's gonna be so happy you're in there. He's gonna be like, I feel like I'm seeing myself in there, but American.
I'll tell you, I love that guy, dude.
I know. He's the only one who's married out of everyone.
I know.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, but look at his personality. He's funny. Funny people always get the ladies, dude.
I mean, yeah, touche. Yeah.
Bang, bang, boom. Boom, boom, boom. You didn't date anybody until you met me. And I'm telling you. I mean, you didn't have a boyfriend.
I dated people before I met you.
What accent is that?
I don't know. I don't know.
What are you, a Southern belle? I've dated people way before I met you, mister. I'll tell you, I'm somebody's family because this flower is a wilting. Oh my God. I'm melting like an ice cube in a nice iced tea in a hot summer's day.
What the freak?
You sound like you have white lace gloves
Excuse
and a Sunday church hat. Yeah. What's with that, Rat?
I don't know. It comes out here and there. I don't know why it comes out.
Yeah, I tell you this though. You fell in love with me.
I did. You know what? Yeah, funny guys are cool, but you, my man, Aries, so stubborn.
Yeah, Aries don't. That stuff doesn't make any sense.
Oh, you are. You are.
I don't believe in horoscope shit. It's bullshit.
No, this is what I mean. Strong-headed.
Well, how can you believe? How can you believe in horoscope stuff when you're Christian?
I don't like. I don't worship horoscope, but it's fun.
It's not worship, but it doesn't make any sense if you believe in Christianity. I don't think because I think like
just because you don't believe it doesn't mean that you can't like.
You just do it for fun.
Yeah, I just do it for fun.
Oh, so you believe in witchcraft then? You're going to hell.
Yeah, I believe in everything.
Are you going to do a Ouija board too? Sinner? Haha. Praise the Lord.
I don't know what that is. What?
The thing where they talk to ghosts. The Ouija board, the dead people.
Freak? No, I have no idea what you're talking about. You talking about the cards? Tarots?
Tarots? What a tarots? Tarot? Dude, this girl's so funny. Like, she was so into like Japanese shit at the time. I wouldn't say Japanese shit. She speaks Japanese. But she was like, guess where I'm going with Becky for fun? I was like, where are you going? Yosemite. I was like, Yosemite? Where's that? She goes, like the outdoor. I was like, Yosemite?
I don't know why.
Yosemite.
For the longest time, I thought Yosemite was a Japanese
mountain in the United States.
No, no, it's just Japanese word. I was like, oh, why do people like to write this in Japanese? For some reason, I thought it was Yosemite.
No, it's Yosemite. I have a bunch of words that she messes up in my iPhone.
Yosemite.
What's that orange flavored jam that you put on toast?
Hold on. Orange jam.
No, what is it? Say it. What is it?
You're hitoya.
Say it. Say
Hold
it.
on.
What's it called?
Marmalade. Isn't that right?
What is that? Wait,
isn't that right?
What's
marmalade? Marmalade. Is that not right?
No. Is that not right?
Is that not right? Marmalade.
Why is there so many syllables? What is that? What is that African animal that swims in lakes and has a really big mouth?
Alligator.
No, it's not. It's purple in cartoons. What is it?
What's purple in cartoon? I don't know. Dinosaur?
No, it's an animal that has like a really big mouth. It swims in this
alligator.
It swims with alligators and crocodiles, but it's not.
Crocodile.
What is it?
I don't know.
It starts with an H.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, you do.
I don't know what you're
talking about. It starts with the
Are
H.
you here to make fun of me?
Yes, you are. It starts with the H.
This is not good for Terrace House.
It starts with the H. What is it called?
It's not a good reel for Terrace House.
It starts with the H. I want you to pronounce it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You do know what I'm talking about. With that tear running down your face. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Black eyeliner coming down. Hippo.
What's the full word?
Hippopotamus. This is what I mean. My fiance is so mean and hard-headed because he would not let go if I didn't say that. If I didn't say that, he would have gotten mad at me.
No, I wouldn't.
This is what I get for having a funny man who's also very stubborn. You Aries.
Listen, I love it when you mispronounce words. It's so funny. So Mariel speaks 4 languages fluently. And so what I find, and it's not just her. I know there's a lot of people who are polyglots who, because they have to switch in between languages a lot, like the vernacular gets messed up sometimes and the words get messed up because it's hard to process all these languages together.
Oh man, when I was in Taiwan, I worked for the university for a sec in the international center, and no joke, I had to use English, Korean, Japanese, Chinese, all those languages, like.
It's hard.
I don't know. And like within like 30 minutes, I have to use all those languages because like the students would be, I don't know, coming from different countries. And then when I talk to the staff, they have to be in Chinese. And then sometimes I have to translate. My brain was just like, at one point, I was just like, hey, you guys, hold on. Give me a second. And I don't even know what language I use. I was just like, 等一下, I need to think about this. I don't know what's going on. My brain is about to explode. But it was a lot. And then... But I do miss that. The fact that I was able to like just convert.
You just have to practice.
I know. I lost my Chinese. I'm so sad. My coworker from Taiwan, he came over not too long ago. I think it was yesterday. He came around and I was like, oh, what's up? And he was like, 新年快乐. I was like, oh, 新年快乐. And I was just like, oh, that's like, that means Happy New Year's. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, I'm so like, what did I say? I was like, oh, I'm so, hold on, see, like this. I lost my word. 감동받았어. How do you say that in English?
감동받았어? I don't know how to translate that. 감동's like, it's like shocked but not.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I'll just say it in Chinese. I was like, 新年快乐. Oh, gandola.
Oh, let's go on a gondola.
Gandola.
Let's go on a gondola.
It means like, oh, I'm very flattered that you came around just to say Happy New Year's. And then he was like talking to me in Chinese, and I understood, but I was like, I don't know how to say it back. And I got really sad.
You just had to practice. Well, your best friend lives right across the street. You could practice anytime that you want.
Oh, she sighs every time I speak Chinese. She's like, ay.
But you have to just practice.
I know.
It's like when I speak, if somebody asks me to speak Korean on the spot, it takes me like an hour to warm up. The hardest time, especially when I meet your parents. Like when I first see them, I can't speak any Korean because my brain is locking up, and then few words, then boom, it starts opening up.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It takes a while because I'm so used to speaking English, and then on top of that, I have to use like 존댓말 with your parents because I don't talk like that with my mom.
존댓말 means formal.
Yeah, I have to speak formal Korean to her parents. And because I don't speak like that to my mom, I talk to my mom like I would talk to my friends in Korean, and I can't talk like that with her parents. So for me, it's like activating a third language.
Yes. You know what we have to do? We just need to fly to those places, travel, and just start using the languages.
If you are on Terrace House, we can make it happen. 할 수 있어.
Maybe they'll have Terrace House in Los Angeles.
How do you say apply in Korean? Like apply for something?
가입해.
가입해? I've never heard
가입.
that. 가입? 가입해.
응, 가입해.
그냥 가입해.
진짜.
그냥 해.
알았어, 한 번 더 해볼게. I'll do it for you.
나 일본말 못하니까
You know what?
네가 해야 돼.
They say to write a little intro. I'm gonna write my boyfriend, who's a YouTuber, and he loves that guy, whatever his name is, and it's like he really wants me to apply for Terrace House, so I'm doing.
No,
this.
you don't say that. You say, I am a lost soul and I'm looking for purpose. I wanted to be on the show 2 years ago, but I thought I found myself. But being in Terrace House, I think I could find who I really want to be. I miss living in Japan, and I want to find myself by meeting new people.
You know what? You should just write it for me in English, and I'll translate it. I'll just put my name on it.
Just do it.
Let's see what happens. Let's see if it'll work.
If you're very honest, you can get on that show.
That is not honest, honey.
It is. You lost as hell.
I lost my soul.
Yes, you lost your soul.
I have a fiance and I lost my soul.
Hey, Han-san was on that show, and he was married, wasn't he?
No, he had a girlfriend.
He had a girlfriend or fiance.
Yeah.
Basically, they were together for a very long time.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
I'm saying you could be on it too.
Han-san, though, he's an angel. He's an angel. He knew everything. He came to save that house. He said the perfect...
You could be that person. Han-san was like 35 or something like that, right? 34, 32?
No, I think he was in his early 30s.
Early 30s. See, that could be you. You could be the wise one.
You think I would be the wise one?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think
they
so
might
either.
teach you a couple of things.
I know. I'm just gonna be like, oh.
You could be on that show. Just do it.
You know, those of you who don't watch Terrace House, you'd be very confused in this session.
Well, we gave a good enough backstory just to let you know what the situations that was going on.
Just go watch it. It's
just
amazing.
watch it, man. Like it's funny because when you see people go through things that you have gone through, it sparks like this very weird memory.
You love that guy. You're talking about it. I could tell that you're imagining about that boy.
Okay, don't say it like that. What the hell? What's wrong with you?
I didn't mean it in a bad way.
I know, but people don't have context. I can see you just sitting there just thinking about that little boy. It's like, nope. That's not what she meant.
Not little boy, but yeah.
No, it's because I'm rooting for him. I'm a fan of his.
Yeah.
Because I like it when just really good people, it's because I think he's a good person. I'm basing this off watching a show.
On one episode.
And two, it's also because I see him trying. And that's the thing that I don't see a lot of people do. And he's also very honest about his mistakes, right? Or honest about what happened at the date. So when the date went bad and it didn't go well, he was honest about it. And he didn't put up this fluff story about
He doesn't have that kind of games. So.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what I like about him.
What did you think about the latest season when he asked out?
I was very proud of him. Now that I've seen how much he's grown from the previous seasons, because he was very straightforward. He goes, when I come back, I would like to go on a date with you.
I think he got that better. He just need to add some swag or confidence, like some kind of.
Yeah, I mean, he's gotten a lot better, but he still slouches. He still looks down. His eyes still switch at the floor when he's talking to a girl.
Yeah.
You know,
and when he talks, he's very soft spoken. I don't know if it's soft spoken, but it's like there's no emotion to it.
he sounds like a robot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's like, hi, you know, it's like that's not going to make a girl want to talk to you. That's not going to make a dude want to talk to you. Like, you know, he's not very engaging.
Pepe, on the other hand, so cute.
Yeah, Pepe, he has like this.
Pepe.
He's like goofy.
I know.
You know what's so interesting? Though? Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say. Speaking of Pepe, his nickname. That's his nickname, right? I don't know what his real name is, but
Pepe Lini or something. I don't know.
when he said that,
Felipe
I
or
reminded me
something.
of my nickname that my Japanese friend called me when I was in Japan. So my full Japanese name would be Mariel, right? But they used to call me Maripe.
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 Mariel.
Yeah, Mariel was too long, so it's Mari. But then I guess like for Mari nickname, they call them Maripe.
Would it have been crazy if you just lived in Japan for your whole life? That would have been crazy. Like from that point, you just stayed in Japan.
know.
And you married this Japanese guy with terrible teeth. And he just sat there.
Or it could have been an American guy who just knows how to speak English. I mean, Japanese.
yeah.
It could be a white guy.
I can't picture you with a white dude though. You're so
Asian?
Korean.
Oh, I am? No, yeah.
Because even when people learn your language, they don't. There's something about growing up in the culture that makes that person different. They're still inherently who they are and what they grew up in. So
I wouldn't have gotten with a Korean dude because it would have been
it would have been a Korean guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. What if? Let's just say this. What if
You flew there?
because I went there on a JK trip, right? And then I just see you chilling, right? And then you hear English and you look over and then we just start having a conversation. And then we, just by fate, we still end up together. Because fate brought us together, that red string of fate.
Oh, what is that one anime called with the red string?
I can't remember.
Silent Voice, was it?
Silent voice, you just making stuff up now.
Yeah.
What's that orange jam called?
Mama.
I'm not going to even tell you.
I bet they're like, what the hell is my marmalade? I would have been a total different person because I've been in Japan. I'd be like, oh, I probably have Japanese accents. Who knows? Would you have stayed in Japan then?
I wouldn't have stayed in Japan, but then maybe we'd have been in long distance relationships
but you
starting
would've-
off that way, and then maybe you would have came back to the States.
So I would have came back. But you don't do long distance in the first year or two.
Who knows? Like I said, the red string of fate is different. Destiny is different. You can't deny
Oh
your
my
destiny.
God, what if that happened and you're like, I gotta learn Japanese because this girl can speak Japanese so well.
I really should learn Japanese though.
I think you should. You understand pretty darn well.
Which is so weird, but I can't speak it.
I'm like that with Chinese.
No, you could speak it. You just have to rev up.
I know. Maybe I should add
It's
that
like-
to my resolution.
Your Chinese is like my Korean. You just have to be in it, and then it starts to click again. You know.
대만에 다시 가자.
나 가고 싶어.
가자.
언제? 가을달?
일본에
가을에?
갈 거잖아. 가을?
가을?
가을에 일본이랑 한국 갈 거 아니야.
응.
돈이 있냐?
나 돈 없어. 근데
나도 돈 없어. 아 슬퍼.
돈을 세이브해서 우리 가도 되잖아.
내년? 아니야.
우리는 이번에는 꼭 일본하고 한국 가야 돼?
가기 싫어?
아니 가기 싫은 거 아니고 네가 뭐 대만을 가고 싶으면
대만보다는 그래도 자기 한국에 안 간 지 오래됐잖아.
14살 때쯤 갔어. 소위
많이 변했을 거니까.
16년 동안
우리 가족도 보고 밥도 먹고 쇼핑도 하고. 그리고 일본도 가깝잖아. 일본도 갈 수 있고.
그거 how would I say this? 한국으로 갈 때는 우리 너 식구들 만나야 되지?
당연하지. 식구들이랑 친구들 만나야지.
친구들도 있어?
당연하지. 나 거기서 살았는데.
몇 명?
글쎄. 생각해봐야 돼. 아 그렇게 많진 않아. 밥 먹으면서.
알았어.
친구들이 어디서 먹고 놀고 그런 거 다 아니까. で、後で日本へ行って一緒に遊んで、で、日本語練習したら
I don't know what 練習 is.
練習、연습一緒にしたらいいね。
Sure.
で、後で一緒にテレスハウスに行って。Yeah. We should do that. We should just like have a full day of just one language.
We could, but it hurts my head. 머리 아파.
Yeah, that's the whole point because you're using a different part of your brain. Before it gets too rusty and you can't move it at all. It's only going to go downhill from here.
That's very negative.
I'm being honest.
Okay, we're going to speak Korean right now for about a minute.
A minute?
It's very hard. Don't time it. Don't time it.
Okay.
We'll try it a little bit.
Okay.
안녕하세요.
존댓말로?
아니, 싫어.
안녕하세요. 네, 고객님. 무슨 얘기 할까요?
무슨 얘기 할까요?
무슨 얘기 할까요, 고객님?
저는 존댓말 하기 싫는데.
존댓말 안 써도 돼요.
안 써도 돼요.
네, 안 써셔도 돼요.
너 나 사랑해?
어머, 고객님.
사랑해?
그런 질문 지금 하시면 안 되죠. Do you know what 고객님이?
I never heard.
아니야, 한국말로. 고객님이 무슨 말인지 아세요?
모르세요.
모르세요?
몰라요.
몰라요? 고객님. 고객님이 서비스 전화할 때 customer service. customer. 그게 고객님.
아.
막 문제가 있으면 전화하잖아. customer service한테.
이상할 때는 우리 그거 팟캐스트 지금 녹음하고 있잖아. 한국말 하고 싶은데 말이 안 나와.
왜?
몰라.
긴장돼?
긴장이 뭔데?
긴장. 도끼도끼. 넓은 말도 써도 돼?
아니.
섞어도 돼?
내가 긴장이 뭔지 모르면 네가 입을 많이 쓰면 내가 더 알겠어?
두근두근.
아.
마음이 두근두근. 긴장. 왜 떨릴 때?
아. 아니 그런 거 아닌데 이상하게
머리가 안 돼?
머리가
안 돌아가?
안 돌아가.
그러니까 많이 써야 된다고. 그러니까 계속 연습을 해야지 이게 좀 돌아가지. 야, 머리가 있으면 뭐하냐? 돌아가야지. 우리 아빠가 하는 말이야.
And done.
Not bad. That was a minute.
Yeah.
But you didn't say much.
I did say a lot towards the end.
How did you feel?
It's just there's other things that I want to say, but then I don't know how to say it.
That's why you gotta practice.
Yeah.
You gotta.
How do you say like?
What did you want to ask?
I was going to say if I moved to Korea, my Korean would be perfect
Perfect?
or good.
Perfect.
If I say 한국에
한국에
이사를 가면
살면?
how do I say if I move there? 이사 가면 한국에
이사하면. 한국에 이사하면. 잠깐만. 한국에 이사를 하면? 한국으로 이사를 하면?
으로 맞잖아.
야, 맞아.
한국으로 이사를 가면?
이사하면. 한국으로 이사하면? 한국말을 잘할 수 있을 것 같아?
더 잘할 수 있을 것 같아. See, like I know all these words, but it's not clicking that I should connect it all together. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's like same thing for me in Chinese. Like I know these words. Like I was trying to say stop on the traffic light yesterday. For some reason I was like, how do you say traffic light in Chinese? I'm like, I used to use that all the time because I used to take the cab. But I couldn't remember. And I was like, wait, what's the order? Is it the noun or the verb first? And it's only because I didn't practice, you know?
Yeah.
So you gotta, your partner is right here. You could totally practice. Just like how I could totally practice with Becky.
I know.
I'm giving your advice.
I want to do it casually. I want to speak a Korean casually. 개인적으로.
개인적으로?
Is that word?
That 개인 is more personal.
Personal? How do you say casual? 편하게.
편하게.
편하게 한국말을 하고 싶은데 연습을 안 하니까 안 하고 한국말도 자주 안 쓰니까 다 까먹었어.
Call my dad.
그거는 아니야. So basically what I said is like, I want to speak Korean more casually. But then she was like, well, just call my dad instead. I don't know about that. I can't. I like talking to your dad. But you know what the hard part is about talking to your dad? I don't even talk to my dad. Because my dad is very lectury. So when we have conversations, when I talk to my father, my dad's very fun too. And you know, the hard part about me speaking to my father is because our relationship when I was younger was very volatile. Like it was him telling me what to do, how to do things, that I wasn't smart. He used to call me dumb all the time. And because of that, like it kind of ruined our relationship, even into my adulthood now. Listen, I love my father to death. I love him. But in terms of speaking to him casually now as friends, there's this awkward air between us. It's not like that with my mom. Because my mom beat my ass. She told me I was dumb too when I made stupid mistakes. But she knew how to balance that out with love. And she also knew when to draw that line very well. My dad didn't know how to do that when I was younger. And I understand in his case because we were poor. We were broke. We didn't have a lot of time. I wasn't a great kid. So all he could do was he was stressed the fuck out. You know what I mean? I get it. I get stressed out. You see what happens too. I see a glimpse of my father. So I understand. So I empathize with him. That's why I love him. And I can't fault him for the stuff that he did. You know, I can only hope that I can be better. But it kind of, that stuff has a ripple effect into your adulthood. And now that I'm trying to speak to him casually, it's very hard unless there's these moments where we have great conversation. But it's not constant.
Because you have that past history with him. My dad, you don't. So you could talk to him.
Maybe
as
that's
just
why I could speak to him more freely. Yeah.
And maybe that could help you talk to your dad.
Yeah, I think like one thing that I really would like to do though is speak to your dad more casually. It's just I can't. It takes a while for me to piece together the words. So it's like I could have.
I think you could totally do it if you try.
Yeah,
I would appreciate that.
I could have way more fun speaking to your dad. I would also appreciate if you would just call my mom every now and then.
I know that's on my agenda.
Just call her up.
I called her up last month. Anyway, yeah.
But that was for New Year's though. Happy New Year's or Christmas. It wasn't just casual.
Yeah. No, that's on my list.
Because like my mom, I had a conversation with my mom and you know, she said something that I was like, oh, I didn't know that she felt that way. She was like, yeah. She goes, listen, because she was talking about me and my brother and then, you know, the future and stuff. And she goes, yeah, you know, I'm really glad that you met a Korean girl because she speaks Korean. She goes, but, you know, like I've asked Mariel to have a conversation with me every now and then. And she said that she would, but she hasn't done it. So I feel like, number one, she's already kind of lied to me, which I don't like.
But granted, you remember that time last year, before Christmas or before Thanksgiving, I was like, I feel really guilty. And you're like, why? And I told you that I want to call your mom and talk because I feel like we could have a good conversation. But thinking about that makes me feel guilty because my mom and I don't do that.
Yeah, I understand that, but you didn't communicate that with her. But all you told her was that you would. So that's stuff that I knew.
Well, I didn't know I would feel like that. Like once it clicked in my head, I'd be like, oh, I want to call her. I was like, oh, what is this guilt trip I'm getting right now to myself? Because I didn't understand that for the longest time when my friend has a similar issue, like why she felt guilty. But then it hit me out of nowhere and I told her, I was like, I know what you're talking about. And so I told you about it. I was like, hey, I feel guilty. So I had a lot of hesitation to call your mom because I do call my mom, but we don't have that kind of relationship where like sit and talk and catch up. Like she doesn't do that.
Your mom's pretty funny though, dude.
Yeah, they're both funny. They got good sense of humor. They're just kind of extreme sometimes. But we're just, all of us, we're not a phone person. I wasn't a phone person. Is that right? I actually used to hate talking over the phone because I wasn't able to see that person's body language. What I used to do when I was younger is that because I learned languages very late in like when I was a kid. So it was hard for me to understand people by just listening to their voice. So I had to look at their body language to understand what they were saying. So when people try to like call, like Becky in middle school, like she'd be like, hey, you know, let's talk over the phone. I hated that because I didn't know what she was saying half of the time. Or maybe I did know, but I was so nervous and uncomfortable that I couldn't understand what she was saying.
Really?
Yeah. I was occupied trying to think like, what is she saying? What is she saying that I didn't listen to her?
This girl was like a robot that just never, that suddenly somebody gave her like a conscience, like that gave her life, because she, like her Becky, by the way, is her best friend. She told me that
my sister wife.
Yeah, her sister wife, which I love, by the way, too, because she says the same things that I say to her, but for some reason when she says it, it makes sense, but when I say it, it doesn't.
Because she's my sister wife.
Either way, this is what it is.
You're annoying.
Like I will fight you right now.
Exactly.
But what she said was like, Becky back in the day when they first started developing their friendship, she goes, "We're friends now. We're going to exchange numbers. We're going to call each other." And she said, "Why?" She goes, "Why?" It's like, "Because we're friends. That's what friends do."
Oh, so, I mean, because prior to that, I moved around a lot, right? Granted, I moved around a lot, so I didn't really get that time to build a relationship or friendship with kids at school, because I can't even count or even remember all the schools that I've been to. But middle school finally stuck around to one location, and Becky came around, and then we exchanged numbers. And so I wasn't used to talking over the phone, like friends calling and stuff. That was just not a thing. So when she called me, I'm like, "Why do you keep calling me every day?" And she's like, "This is what friends do." I'm like, "Oh, what? Okay."
Like I said, it's like, I'm learning to be friends. This is what friends do. Beep, boop, beep, boop.
Yeah, I didn't really know how to socialize. I was just in my own world, I guess. But that said, so I wasn't a phone person, and it wasn't until I came back from Taiwan, and I started commuting to Culver City to go to full screen, because it's such a long commute that I just didn't know what to do, and we didn't have Spotify back then, so I would just call my friends. And by then I was pretty comfortable, I guess, with myself and like talking to people, and I guess, I don't know, somehow like, oh, talking on the phone is actually really fun. Prior to that, I didn't like it, because I like, when I was in Japan, for example, when I was in other countries, like in Japan, even learning Japanese, like I have to look at their body language to understand like what they're saying, because if it's just their voice, it's hard for me to understand. And so it was until later on, like after college, when I finally got comfortable talking over the phone. So it's still fairly new. And so my parents don't none of us, we really talk on the phone and like communicate.
Well, you have a very interesting relationship with your parents, though, because I come from a family that's very touchy-feely. You know what I mean?
Which is not normal for Korean family.
I don't know. The Korean families that I know growing up, they were like that, right? But I guess maybe they're not as typical that I've seen from other Korean families, though. So when I lived in my small world or whatever, my parents, by the way, don't have too many friends. Like they keep their circle really tight, and the circle that's really tight, they kind of behave like us too. Very lovey, very friendly, all hugs, all kisses. Like I'll kiss my guy friends if I wanted to. Like I'm very okay with that shit too. Like I like when it's like my friends, when it's my friends, like like if you're in my really tight, close circle, like we're family. You know what I mean? Like you see, like the homegirls, I'll give them kisses on the cheek. I love them. Like I'll tell them I love you. You know what I mean? It's because I really, it's just like that's family to me. We've done that since we were kids. You know what I mean? Something that I saw. I still give my mom kisses to this day.
Do.
You know what I mean?
It's fascinating.
Right? So I'm saying, like, we grew up, like, touch isn't, it's weird to me when people see touch and physical touch as only a sexual thing. You know what I mean? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's odd for me, because touch
I don't see it as a sexual thing only, but it's just, because, like, we could still be just as close, but don't have to apply that. We just didn't grow up with it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, because I think that's an awkward thing for a lot of people. I'm not saying everybody has to be like that. I'm just saying, like, with my group of friends that I've had, that's just how we've been, you know.
Which I love. I think I envy people who are very comfortable and natural with hugging and like showing affection, like saying I love you and stuff. Because it's so funny. My coworkers, they're so good at it. They're so good at it, and they're really all good friends. So they say it a lot, they hug a lot, and I watch them, I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And I get really happy for them, but I think I give off the energy. I'm like, oh, I don't do that. So, because I'm just like, nope, I don't initiate. My body's just like a stone. And so one time, I mean, if they come and approach me, I will do it. Like, I'm more than happy to do it. I just don't know how to.
Because you didn't grow up with it. That's all.
Exactly.
It's just different.
I will accept it, but I can't. It's not a daily thing for me.
Yeah.
And so one day I brought it up to one of the girls, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I could tell. I'm like, "Oh snap!"
Yeah, because you stiffen up like a board. You're like, why?
Probably.
But everybody's different. There's no right or wrong way.
Yeah.
It's just
I envy it though. Like I wish. I mean, our bodies are like obviously it adds endorphins or something to our body because we love it.
And also too, sometimes like I understand from a woman's perspective too, because I think a lot of guys, like I didn't really think about this until it was addressed to me. Like this can come off as offensive to a guy if they heard it or not, right? But like a couple of homegirls were like, because they would see that I would hug these girls, right? I give them a kiss on the cheek and say goodbye and then move away. Not a gay dude, straight dude, and then we kind of have like a very fun, like flirtatious friendship or whatnot. But there's literally don't find them attractive at all, right? And one of the girls were talking about in passing, she goes, I like the way that you interact with me. I was like, what do you mean? She goes like, I could tell that when you hug me or like if you give me like a kiss on the cheek goodbye, like it's just because you love me as a friend. You know what I mean? Like,
there's no like other meaning to it.
It's very comfortable.
Yeah.
I don't feel like you stare at me. I don't feel like any of that shit. I was like, well, yeah, because I'm not. Like I don't see you that way at all. She goes, I even feel like sometimes with my guy friends, we're casual friends and stuff and we're good. I feel like if they tried to give me a hug the way you gave me a hug, I would feel like they're trying something different. She goes, but when you hug me, you embrace me, but it feels warm and it feels very inviting. It's like, which is true. It's like I don't have an ulterior motive. Yeah. I'm hugging you because I care about you, right? Or
I've had those hugs before where it was just not.
It's like this feels weird.
Yeah, I was like, it made me like kind of catch myself. Be like, I should step away. Yeah,
because I also hug girls the same way I hug dudes too. So it's like when I give big hugs to a girl, the guys get the same hug. Yeah. It's not a different hug that a guy gets or a girl gets.
See, it's a. How do I say? You're so natural with it that it's comfortable. Yeah. Even like the person who you give hug understands that. Yeah. You totally receive that. And so I don't know if I do. I can't do that. And I envy that a lot. I wish I could have it at all. No, but I do because I want to. But it just doesn't. I'm used to doing something else that it's hard to get rid of that habit. And I feel like it's getting even harder because it's funny because here they see me as like the girl who doesn't hug, right? Who's not very like touchy. When I was in Asia, it was a whole different story because I'd be like, I've tried to hug and they'd be like,
they were the ones that are like, oh.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, I should not do this. And I get so used to that because it's a different meaning over there when you hug someone.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If I was on Terrace House, I'm saying like people would hate me because I'm so un-Japanese, right? Because if I like somebody, I want to hug them. Even in this is the only show that I've seen on Terrace House, the Aloha State, because it's in a territory of the United States, where it's more American, where they hug. They actually hug me, yeah, hug me. Like they actually hug in this one, right? Because I think it's in America. Yeah. But in Japan, none of them hugged. Yeah. They didn't, unless it was like a long, like they're leaving forever, then they hug each other.
But even though that hug is like little pat.
Yeah. Like when I see Bart, I give him a hug. Yeah. I give Bart a huge hug.
I wonder what it'd been like to live in one place.
I kind of like that you got to grow up and live in other places. Like you really lived a life that I wish that I was brave enough to live when I was younger. But I wasn't. Like number one, going outside of Sacramento made me anxious. Like I would freak out.
But that's because that's your real home. That's where your real friends are, your close friends, your family, your history, your memories, everything's there. So it makes you anxious. I didn't have a place like I'm so detached to all the places that I lived. Yeah. Even I don't know. Yeah, cuz I lived only for a year or so and then I hop onto another one. So I have no baggage and those kind of stuff. Like I could just hop around. It's almost like as if I have to hop around to survive. Feel comfortable. Yeah, because if I stay in one place for a long time, I get anxious.
That's so interesting. When we were first going out too, she was very much like that. And my comfort zone is staying in one place and developing really strong, long-lasting friendships with just a few people. Her thing was she got she felt incomplete if she wasn't traveling somewhere and trying these new experiences. So when we first went out, and what I told her in the beginning was when we went out was like, hey, I don't like long distance relationships. I've done long distance relationships before and it doesn't work out for me. And so it wasn't even a year in and she was like, hey, what do you feel about me moving somewhere else and working? I was like, listen, I told you I don't like long distance relationships. Like I like you, but if you move, it would probably be the end of us.
I sacrificed my lifestyle for you.
But I had to tell you because I was honest with you up front and I was honest with you at the end. Yeah. And the reason why I wasn't comfortable with the long distance relationship because we weren't stable. Yeah. I don't know you like that yet.
Yeah.
I wasn't comfortable enough. I didn't know you enough. And to be honest with you, I didn't trust you enough at that point and I didn't trust myself enough to be away from you. Right? Now, if you said, remember I told you like, hey, if I had a job offer somewhere in Asia for a contract for 6 months, would you care? I was like, yeah, I would care, but go ahead. Like, I'm stable with you.
That's why you're pushing me to go to Terrace House. You're like, yes, you could totally go there for 6 months.
Get the hell away from me already, dude. Go out there 6 months. Let me be butt naked in the house, dude. Just
pay half of the rent and then go.
Yeah, let me put towels in the sink. Let me cut my fingernails at the tables.
Hit the toilet seat up. Oh my gosh, it'll be a mess.
No, it'll just be a normal place.
No.
So funny.
No.
Yeah. Well, that was an hour in.
Was that
was the very fast podcast.
That was fun.
It's going to be confusing for a lot of people. They're like, what the hell are they talking about? But I hope I got you guys on the Terrace House, and I'm actually just using this as promo to get her on the show. So you can find her, Mariel's song, at her Instagram. 2 of them, actually, right? Mariel __song, and then My Harmony Story.
My_harmony_story.
And so My Harmony Story, actually you explain it.
So My Harmony Story, harmony is actually in Korean, if you want to say harmony in Korean is 할머니, which means grandma. And I have a very strong relationship with my grandma. And after she passed away, I have dedicated an Instagram of drawing her because it's something that I like to do for fun. And I realize I have a lot of footage and photos of her. And I think it's just fun to kind of represent how she looks like through my eyes with my style. And my future goal for that Instagram is that I could make a children's book out of her character and the culture that she taught me.
Very, very cool. Well, you could see her on that. And then remember, Genius Brain Podcast, everybody, every Thursday and Sundays, you will see an upload. I love you very much. Kiss me in the face. You can see us on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and those are the only ones I remember, but they're on every audio platform out there. Give us a download, give us a listen to, and share it, please. And I'll see you all next time, you cute pootie tooties. Say the orange jam.
Mama. 맞다네. Stop it. Bye.